In the sixth inning, it's Northrop, Freehan, and Wirt for the Tigers. Northrop struck out and hit a grand slammer in the third and flied out also in the third. That was the inning that the Tigers sent 15 men to the plate, and that's a strike to him. Northrop continued his grand slam pattern of the season. He led the majors in grand slammers and clouts one in the series. He sends that one down the left field line foul. 0-2. The two-strike pitch, low. None of the Cardinal pitchers today have been able to stop the Tigers. Washburn gave up 5 runs. Jasper 3 runs. Willis 2 runs. Hughes pitched to third and got him out. Carlton's given up a run. A 1-2 pitch. Foul again, out of play. Tigers still have some ways to go to break the record for most runs in a game in the World Series. 18 runs. The Yankees scored against the Giants in 1936. Line drive, Kurt Flood charging it. In front of him, base hit. 12 hits for the Tigers. Bill Freehan a single to knock in a run, walked, and grounded out. Every man's hit safely for the Tigers except McCullough, Wirt, and McLean. Curve is high. One ball, no strikes. Now his curve is good that time. 1-1. Steve Carlton from North Miami, Florida. High fly, shallow right. Harris is coming in. Javier gives way to him. One down. Northrop stays at first. Don Wirt will be the batter. He's walked and hit by a pitch ball. Popped up. He scored a run. He's hitting .091 in the series. Fastball low and away. Curve is inside, a ball. 1-1, or 2-0. There's the man that, unless the Cardinals rallying once again, will be carrying a load for the Cardinals in the 7th game. He won the 7th game in '64. He won the 7th game for the Cardinals last year. Throw to first. The way matters stand now, he'll be opposed tomorrow by Mickey Lolich, with everybody else in the bullpen on both clubs. 3-0. Jim Northrop at first. One down. Right in there to him. The way matters stand now, he'll be opposed tomorrow by Mickey Lolich, with everybody else in the bullpen on both clubs. 3-0. Jim Northrop at first. One down. Right in there to him. 3-2. The Tigers leading 13-0. Playing Wirt over to right. They leave him a big gap at left center. And he hits it foul. Northrop returning to first.
You know, Kurt, the talk was that were the series to end today, that Lou Brock of the Cardinals would be the outstanding player and would receive the car that they give. I think now that Al Kaline has certainly moved into serious contention, if not ahead.
And they got him going the wrong way. It's to Cepeda. Cepeda to Maxville. To the pitcher. Hits the runner. And Northrup holds it first, so they lost him in the rundown.
They're calling it interference, Kurt.
He interfered, they say. He's out. They'll give the put out to the infielder closest on the play.
Here's the slow motion replay on it. Just Carlton has him picked off. There's Cepeda giving it to Maxville. Running him back the other way. The pitcher Carlton now will be on the receiving end. But the toss by Maxville, you see his arms being raised, and that's why the interference was called by first base umpire Tom Gorman.
2 down, nobody on. Work. Just a little pop in foul ground that Cepeda's waiting for, and the Tigers are out. No runs. 1 hit, no errors, nobody left. At the end of 5 1/2. Bob Gibson looking on. The Tigers 13.
This was Canada, 1867. The Bank of Commerce began that year. Canada grew, and Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce kept pace. A reliable, progressive bank. Its thoughts are still on the future. Already, space-age computers serve some branches to give customers fast electronic service. Eventually, they will link all Commerce branches coast to coast. Also for the near future, Commerce cash dispensers. Conveniently located so that you can get instant cash day or night.
Bank of Commerce, Bank of Commerce, Bank of Commerce, Bank of Commerce.
One of the world's great banks.
You know, Kurt, that shot of Bob Gibson in deep meditation. There he is again in that dugout. Naturally, his thoughts already are on tomorrow. He's had a long season, a great season, but he too is just mortal flesh.
He's allowed 1 run in these 2 games. He's won 7 World Series games in a row, an all-time record. Bobby Tolan now is batting for Carlton. We'll have another Cardinal pitcher in this game in the 7th. Bobby Tolan. Ball 1 to him. Lou Brock on deck, and then Kurt Flood. Denny McLean pitched a 3-hit shutout so far. Foul back. 1-1. There's Brock. Bobby Tolan is a cousin of the late Eddie Tolan, the gold medal winner in the 100 and 200-meter dashes in the 1932 Olympics. Lives in Los Angeles. He was a star pitcher at high school at Fremont High in Los Angeles. Now he's an outfielder. 1 ball, 2 strikes. McLean, who had control problems in the first game, and the second game just didn't have any stuff. This game been sharp getting that ball over. Foul back, pouring that fastball in, using his slow curve as his off-speed pitch. This looks like the McLean that won 31 games. A 1-2 delivery. There's his slow curve, and it's popped up, racing over toward the seats as Cash is out of play. Right in back of the commissioner's box. Peta had a single in the 2nd. Ricketts a pinch hit single in the 3rd. Maris a bat hop single in the 4th. That's been it so far for St. Louis, and he struck him out. 1 away. 3 strikeouts for McLean. He got a strikeout in the 4th, a strikeout in the 5th, now a strikeout in the 6th. Lou Brock There's Mickey Lowley. Who tomorrow, unless the Cardinals rally, will be pitching with 2 days rest. And he kept the Tigers in this series, that big 5th game in Detroit. After giving up 3 runs in that first inning, he shut them out the rest of the way. A ball. You know, Harry, I don't believe he's pitched with 2 days rest all year, but he should be fresher than Lombard, who had to pitch the last day of the 1967 season to give the Red Sox the pennant. Of course, the Tigers winning easily. None of their staff was under strain there in the month of September.
That's true. He certainly looks fresh enough right there, doesn't he? And strong. A great pairing for tomorrow if it ends this way here today, Kurt. You know, he's watching the game on television right now, Kurt.
Have a monitor down there, huh? Watch the rerun. A 1-1 pitch. Foul back by Lou Brock.
You know, Kurt, those ball players sure love to scout the umpire's work during the game.
Well, as Harry pointed out, Brock or Gibson looked like a shoe-in for the star of the series. Now Kaline has 11 hits, Brock has 11 hits. Kaline now leads the series in RBIs. Kaline got the big hit in the 7th inning. Day before yesterday in Detroit with the bases loaded. The hit that put the Tigers out in front. He's had 3 hits today and 4 RBIs. Bounding ball to second. Bad hop. And Brock is on his 12th hit. So he leads the series now in base hits. And he has a chance, and even though they're 13 runs behind, he had a chance to break the World Series stolen base record. He tied his own record this year with 7 that he set last year. They're already yelling, go, go.
Yeah, with the Cardinals 13 runs behind, for the St. Louis crowd, they want to at least have the satisfaction of seeing Brock steal that base.
Of course, Bob Gibson and Mickey Lolich will have a shot at that outstanding player record. In there for a strike to Kurt Flood, who's lined to short and flied to right. 13-0, the Tigers leading. Cardinals batting last of the 6th. Now let's watch Brock. Foul back. Brock sometimes gets accused by the opposing players of running when he shouldn't be running, when the Cardinals are way ahead or way behind. He says, listen, the best thing I do is steal a base. Why shouldn't I? Does a hitter go up there and try not to hit a home run if that's the best thing he does? He's an offensive player. Foul again out of play. 0-2.
He's given no indication, Kurt, that he intends to try to steal. He hasn't taken the daring lead that he usually does.
One out, Lou Brock at first. No balls, 2 strikes to Kurt Flood. Flood fouls it back again. Brock again was just holding there. He had his short lead. The trio is Cash, Brock in the middle, and first base umpire Tom Gorman. Line foul into the stands down the right field line. The all-time series record for most base hits is 13, held by Bobby Richardson. Brock has 12 and Kaline has 11. Blaine pitching with 2 strikes, and a curveball strikes out Flood. Blaine's starting to come up with that strikeout pair. Looks like he's getting easier. He's got a big lead, of course, which is a big help to him. But also that right shoulder of his might be loosening up as this ball game goes along. Roger Maris has grounded out and had a bad hop single. All the bad hops in this series have been hit out toward the second baseman. Fastball is too high, 1-0. 13-0. Tigers ahead. Cardinals have 2 out. Lou Brock at first. K-Line and Brock now are the only players in the series who have hit safely in each game. High fly in the shallow right. McAuliffe is out for it. The Tiger second baseman puts it away to retire the side, and McLean has shut him out for 6. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 6, the score: the Tigers 13 and the Cardinals nothing.
Well, Dutch fever, please, not now. See the test tube. Son, tiny mistake, and the whole place goes up like gangbusters. Oh, don't show me the Dutch coronet.
Dodge Coronet 500 for 1969. To start it moving, just step down and stand back. 318 cubes do the rest. New excitement in a feverish new shape.
No Dutch fever now.
In here, a beautiful new world of color and comfort, including wood grain paneling and a fold-up armrest if you like.
One look at that car now, buddy, and it's goodbye, Charlie, right there. Oh, is that what I think it is?
Dodge Coronet 500. The look is new. The price is now. Dodge Fever. More powerful than ever.
Dodge is turning up the fever now.
Wayne Granger is coming on to pitch for the Cardinals. He'll be their 6th pitcher. They have that monitor down in the Tiger dugout, and Lolich has been fiddling around with it for a couple of innings, having some trouble getting it to work. Now it's working, we understand. And here's a little... They put a message on it.
Yeah, they had a message just for Mickey to see down there. It says, I love you, signed Bob Gibson.
What's that he says?
I said, where's the message at? They're taking it off now.
Denny McLean will start it off with the Tigers in the 7th. If you joined us late, the Tigers scored 2 in the 2nd, 10 runs in the 3rd, tying an all-time World Series record. 15 men going to the plate. Another run in the 5th. K-Line is homered in the 5th. Northrup a grand slammer in the 3rd. McLean is hit into a double play, sacrificed, and struck out. Strike to McLean. Wayne Granger, his first series game. He won 4, lost 2 during the season. An earned run average of 2.25. He's 24. He was born and still lives in Springfield, Massachusetts. Strike 2. 0-2. So it's been Washburn, Jaster, Willis, Hughes, Carlton, and now Granger. Fouls are back. No balls, 2 strikes to Denny McLean. Outside, 1-2. One-two pitch. Strikes out on a curve. 1 down. Dick McAuliffe had 2 walks in the 3rd inning. He struck out twice also. And with those 2 bases on balls, 1 intentional, he tied a series record done only once previously by that slugger, Lefty Gomez, the former Yankee pitcher. One of the worst hitting pitchers of all time. You imagine Gomez walking twice in an inning? Foul ball back. He's been here around the series.
Whoever that pitcher was against him should be investigated.
Tigers are leading 13-0 in the seventh. One away, bases empty. We're right now at the top of the Tiger batting order.
What an entertaining man, that Gomez, Kurt.
A ball, I always liked his quip at the end of his career that I'm throwing harder than I ever did, only the ball is getting up there twice as slow. A 1-1 pitch. Look out. Call jackknifing back. 2 balls, 1 strike. It was Gomez who, in the pressure of a World Series, stopped to watch an airplane fly over Yankee Stadium. Kept the batter and everybody waiting. The 2-1 pitch. 3-1. Tigers have received 6 walks in the game. The Paulus series average right now is 261. Oh, he's on. That's his 3rd walk in the game, the 7th for the Tigers. Mickey Stanley will be moving in. He's fly to right, single, wrapped into a force play and grounded out. One more walk by McAuliffe in the game. He'll tie a record of 4 walks in the game. 1 away, runner on first. A ball. Al Kaline on deck. Quiet Cardinal crowd. One and one, much like that Tiger crowd last Sunday when the Cardinals won 10-1.
Yeah, you can't get too excited when your home team's 13 runs behind, Kurt.
Fouls it off. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I will say you have proved yourself a prophet. You predicted in our conversation that you thought it would be a 7-game series.
Al Kaline on deck. You know his right one. There's a ground ball to short. Maxwell plays it to Javier. His quick relay to first. They've got a double play. And the Tigers are out in the 7th. No runs, no hits, there were no errors, nobody left. At the end of 6 1/2, it's the Tigers 13, the Cardinals nothing.
Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, feel confident. Stay dry with new Right Guard Antiperspirant, a completely new product from Right Guard. Right Guard Antiperspirant is a new defense against perspiration. It contains a tested agent that checks perspiration wetness. Feel confident. Stay dry. Get new Right Guard Antiperspirant in the silver can.
10 more blades to go.
5 blades to go.
3? Just 3 blades to go? That's it? I used up all the old blades? Now I can use the new Gillette Super Stainless Steel blade with the miracle plastic coating on the edge. They say it's supposed to spoil you.
The spoiler.
Pause briefly for station identification. Kurt Gowdy, Harry Carey, Tony Kubek. Light rain starting to fall in St. Louis. And Orlando Cepeda will start it off for the Cardinals. He'll be followed by Tim McCarver and Mike Shannon. Denny McLean pitching a shutout. A high fly again to Kaline. And there's 1 out. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 put outs for Kaline in right field. Let's take a look at a record for putouts by a right fielder in a World Series game.
It proves that McLean has his stuff, which is obvious anyhow. That high, good riding fastball of his, making him hit the ball in the air.
Tim McCarver is line to right, struck out. 13-0. Tigers ahead. The line shot, K-line coming on. He can't get that one. Fields it on a hop. A single for McCarver. That's the 4th hit for the Cardinals. Yes, K-line has tied a record. 7 putouts by a right fielder. John Murray of the Giants in 1912. Miller of the A's in 30. Ray Blades, the Cardinals in 1930. Oliva, the Twins in 1965. No balls, 1 strike. That's 6. Let's double check that. 1 more and he ties it. No balls, 2 strikes. Carver at first, 1 down. Shannon fouls it back, 0-2. Denny McLean's father was an insurance salesman who got McLean interested in 2 things as a youngster: playing the organ and playing baseball. And they're both paying off for him. McLean's father used to give organ lessons on the side to his son and other people. Foul ball. And today, Denny is playing the right tune.
And I bet his father-in-law, Louis Boudreau, is mighty happy today because I know how much good-natured kidding he's been taking about Denny during this series.
No balls, 2 strikes to Shannon. 1 out, McCarver at first. Just missed that corner. Umbrellas are up, light rain falling. We had rain off and on all morning. The game was delayed about 10 minutes in starting. The infield is starting to become dampened down. A 1-2 pitch. Ground ball in the hole. Nice stop by Stanley's throw is in the right field. McCarver getting up, going to third, and in the second is Shannon. K-line pegs it into freehand at the plate. This is the first time the Cardinals have had a man to third. It's an infield hit for Shannon. An error on Stanley, who's thrown to second.
I think that's only the second error by Stanley in the series, and each time it's been after he's made a fine play to his right. And both have been sort of tick-tacky errors. This time the throw is just a little bit off at second base, where he had no chance to get the runner anyhow.
Javier, slide to right, line to third. Runners on second and third for St. Louis, 1 out. 13-0, Tigers. Gets down to work, holds the runner, fires to first. He's got him. Runners stay 2 away. Javier and Kurt Flood had also hit safely in each game, but they've been blank so far today. Dal Maxville has flied out twice. Catcher John Edwards has come out on the on-deck circle to bat for the pitcher if he gets a chance. Fastball is low, 1-0. Lest the Cardinals rally, Game 7 tomorrow. A ball, 2-0. We'll be on At 1:30 with World Series report, that's Eastern time. It's Lolich against Gibson tomorrow. Things go the way they are right now. There's a fly ball to K-line. This will tie the record. There's his 7th put out. No runs, 2 hits, there was 1 error and 2 left. At the end of 7, Tigers 13, Cardinals nothing.
Just look what Plymouth's up to now. Just look what Plymouth's up to now. Driving will never be the same again for you.
Introducing the 1969 Plymouths. Fury. This year it's a whole new car. Longer, wider, completely redesigned from rubber to roofline. Belvedere, our mid-size success car. 26 models, 18 colors, 76 interiors. Valiant, the compact that didn't get bigger, just better. Barracuda, 4 great engines, 3 great bodies, and a torsion bar suspension for true sports car handling. See what Plymouth's up to now at your Plymouth dealers.
Just look what Plymouth's up to now.
We pause now for station identification. This is the CBC television network.
Al Kaline leading off in the 8th inning. Struck out in the 1st, single in the 3rd to knock in a run, single also in the 3rd to drive in another run, and hit a 2-out home run to left field in the 5th. He's knocked in 4 runs in this game. And his average right now, 440 in the series. Wayne Granger pitching for the Cardinals. Kaline, Cash, and Horton. He's hit. And he's hit on the left elbow. Tiger trainer, manager Mayo Smith coming out. Here's a fellow that's always had hard luck with injuries. Every year something's happened to him. He had a fractured bone. He's trying to rub that pain out. That hurts when you get hit on that crazy bone. With this big lead, Tigers right on the bone. May not want that elbow to stiffen up. Well, they're going to leave him in. He's all right. So he's been on base now 4 times in a row. Kaline's now been on base 6 times in his last 7 up. Norm Cash has walked and had 3 hits. Hits it hard to Cepeda. It's a fair ball. Steps on first, and that's it. Going to second is Kaline. 1 down. 13-0. Tigers leading. Top of the 8th. Willie Horton doubled to knock in a run in the 2nd. Walked and had an infield hit in the 3rd. Popped up in the 5th. 2 out of 3. Horton batting .263. Big lead. Tigers right on the bone. May not want that elbow to stiffen up. Well, they're going to leave him in. He's all right. So he's been on base now 4 times in a row. Kaline's now been on base 6 times in his last 7 up. Norm Cash has walked and had 3 hits. Hits it hard to Cepeda. It's a fair ball. Steps on first, and that's it. Going to second is Kaline. 1 down. 13-0. Tigers leading. Top of the 8th. Willie Horton doubled to knock in a run in the 2nd. Walked and had an infield hit in the 3rd. Popped up in the 5th. 2 out of 3. Horton batting .263. And Willie Horton's hit by a pitch ball. Runners on first and second. 3 Tigers have been hit today by pitch balls. They've had 7 walks and 3 hit batsmen. Jim Northrup struck out, hit a grand slammer in the third, flied out in the third. That was the inning. The Tigers had 15 men up and singled to right in the 6th. To the box. So Maxville for 1 over to first for the double play. 1 to 6 to 3 on that one. No runs for the Tigers, no hits, there were no errors, 1 left. At the end of 7 1/2, Detroit 13, St. Louis nothing.
This bank began the year Canada began and grew along with Canada. All along the way, wherever history was being made, the commerce was there. Reliable, progressive, a real working bank. Serving the loggers, the miners, the oilmen. For example, the Commerce Oil Map in Calgary maintains an up-to-the-minute picture of who's drilling where, what's good, what's promising. An important service to customers at Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce. One of the world's great banks.
Ray Euler's gone to shortstop for the Tigers. Mickey Stanley to center field. Jim Northrup to left field. This is a defensive change they've been using in the late innings when they've been ahead. And Willie Horton leads the lineup. Johnny Edwards is now batting for Wayne Granger. Playing high with his fastball, 1-0. One and one. First time we've seen Edwards at the plate. Been an outstanding backup catcher. Hit .239 during the season. Fouls it back, 1 and 2. He had 3 homers this year and 29 RBIs. The Cardinals bench. One of the big reasons why they've run away with the National League pennant the last 2 years. They're deep in that bench. They can rest their players. Injuries haven't bothered them. Foul ball back. They've got those pinch hitters to come up in the late innings. Edwards played with the Reds in the World Series in 1961. A steady rain coming down. A 1-2 pitch. Struck him out. Well, McLean's sailing along here with a 6-hit shutout. Lou Brock has bounced with the pitcher flying out and single. 1 out of 3. World Series average of .500. He came into this game with a lifetime World Series average of .400, which is the highest ever compiled by a player. If he gets another hit in the series, he'll tie an all-time record. It's really raining now. There's a foul over toward the Tiger dugout going out of play. So games 4 and game 6 have been plagued with bad weather. Oh, it's really raining, and the umpires now have ordered the tarp put on the infield. Many of the fans are heading back under cover. The weather's not the factor here. for the Tigers as it was when they were trailing in those early innings in Detroit and it was raining. With that 13-run lead, they've got a different attitude on it.
These teams will be even two in winning games and bad weather. The Cardinals had the big lead, as you've indicated, over there in Detroit, and now it's the Tigers with a big lead here in the 8th inning. And it's all going to boil down. Incidentally, Kurt, do you realize that since the Cardinals got 3 runs in the first inning Monday, they haven't scored? So with a break in the action here, the score remains Detroit 13, St. Louis nothing.
A truck is a truck. Right. Wrong. 69 Dodge and Fargo trucks are sport trucks. Here, take a look. New cushion beam suspension. Chrysler took the elastic off the bankroll to completely re-engineer the suspension and steering on Dodge and Fargo pickup trucks. A sway bar was added, springs redesigned, liners added, and a lot more to make 69 Dodge and Fargo trucks the sweetest handling pickups on the road under any load, bar none. Bumps flatten, potholes smooth out, rides like a limousine. And that's not all. Handsome new long line styling and comfortable luxury interiors prove you don't have to be ugly to be tough. Dodge and Fargo with cushion beam suspension. Sport Truck 69. See your Chrysler dealer for Sport Truck 69.
The ground crew placing the tarp down. The steady rain coming down. We had an historic 3rd inning here. Some of you might have come in late. We'll recap it. An inning that tied a World Series record of 10 runs and tied a record of having the most men go to bat, 15. McCullough started that inning with a walk. Washburn was pitching. Stanley singled. K-Line singled in McCullough. And that was all for Washburn. Jasper came in. Cash singled. Then Horton walked. Then Northrop hit a grand slam home run. Gaster left, in came Willis. Freehan walked. Wirt was hit by a pitch ball. McLean sacrificed him along. Then McCullough came up again and walked for his 2nd time in the inning. Stanley hit into a force play. K-Line's 2nd hit of the inning. A single brought in a run. Cash singled to knock in a run. Horton had an infield hit. And Northrop flied out. 10 runs, 15 men to the plate. The Tigers had 2 runs in the 2nd. K-Line hit a home run in the 5th inning, and that's the way it is now, 13-0, Harry.
And it looks again like a 7th game here in St. Louis tomorrow, Kurt, with Bob Gibson and Mickey Lolich. Lolich has beaten the Cardinals twice, held them to 1 run his first appearance against them. And, of course, Bob Gibson's allowed only 1 run in the 2 games he has pitched. It's drawing it kind of fine. Anything can happen in one ball game. And, of course, Gibson has the great record in World Series for 7th game victories. Lolich has proven that he can pitch a low-run game against the Cardinals. Anything can happen tomorrow.
And tomorrow, Earl Wilson, according to the Tigers, will be ready. He's had a pulled leg muscle. They've taped that up. And also Joe Sparma. They'll have everybody ready in that bullpen. And, of course, the Cardinals will, too.
The importance of that 5th game Monday afternoon now is particularly magnified, Kurt.
We'll be back to Busch Memorial Stadium in St. Louis in 1 minute. Time was called at 3:21 here, St. Louis time. We've had about a 26-minute delay now in this game. The Tigers are ahead 13-0. The Cardinals are batting in the last of the 8th inning with 1 out, nobody on, and the count, no balls, 1 strike to Lou Brock. Denny McClain pitching a shutout so far, coming back after failing twice in the series, revealed that he'd been pitching with a sore shoulder during the month of September. He had had 5 or 6 X-ray treatments for that shoulder to try and keep it under control. Actually, Dr. Russell Wright, the team physician of the Tigers, explains it. A stretched tendon. McClain had been a real workhorse this year. He'd pitched over 300 innings, pitched tough. He'd won 31 games, and of course, taking his regular turn with 3 days rest. The stretched tendon, which had become inflamed, had no chance to get rested and heal on its own. And they didn't want to give him a cortisone shot unless they had to. But after he had pitched in his second time out in the series when he was so ineffective, they finally decided to do something about it. And the shot they injected in his shoulder yesterday in Detroit seemed to have worked wonders. He looked like the 31-game winner, McClain, today. Started a little bit slowly, but picked up, started striking out men. He's been sharp with his control. Although, as Bob Gibson has pointed out, and also McClain himself would point out, when you've got some runs to work on, you don't have to be so fine in those corners. You don't have to be so careful of those hitters, and you can pitch a little freer and easier out there. So he'll have a delay of, 30, 40 minutes if we started to play again, but it's raining very steadily here now. And they just can't take this tarp off right now because if this series goes to 7 games tomorrow, they want this field in some kind of condition. And remembering it rained most of the morning here today. The weatherman has said tomorrow will be a clear day and a good day in St. Louis. So right now with a 13-run lead, it's Game 7 tomorrow. Mickey Lolich been announced as the starting pitcher for the Tigers. This is all, of course, unless the Cardinals, when we get back to action here, put on the miracle rally of all time in the World Series. But it'll be Lolich tomorrow against Bob Gibson. Once again, Gibson is being counted on to win the big 7th game for the Cardinals, as he did against the Yankees in '64, as he did against the Red Sox last year. And it's amazing how this series has paralleled last year's series, where the Cardinals had a 3-game-to-1 lead, where they were stopped twice by one pitcher, Jim Lomborg, who alone had kept the Red Sox in the series. Lolich he's been the one pitcher to stop the Cardinals and keep the Tigers in the series, winning the 5th game, as Lomborg won the 5th game last year. And then the two matched up for the 7th game, with Lolich pitching with the exact days of rest. Lomborg had only 2 days rest last year, although Lomborg was tireder going into the series than Lolich was, because Lomborg was in a hectic pennant race of 4 teams going right down to the final weekend. Well, with a score 13-0, Tigers ahead. It's still raining. Let's go down to Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Kurt. Down in the Tiger dugout, you can see it's pretty well vacant. A few players, a few coaches, a few police officers. Still raining pretty hard down here. Thus far, this ball game has been all the Tigers, as you can well see. 13-0, the big 10-run 3rd inning. They showed what they've been doing all year long, and that is hitting the ball out of the ballpark, putting together rallies, hitting for power. On the other hand, they've also showed why McClain won 31 ball games. He has had better stuff today than he did his previous 2 starts, and apparently the shot in the shoulder, the hypodermic needle that Kurt Gowdy talked to you about, did some good. We're just hoping that nothing will be of a permanent nature as far as damage to that shoulder. Manager Mayo Smith told us before the ball game he would not have pitched Denny McClain if he thought there was any chance of injuring his pitching shoulder. So it looks like it'll be the 7th game tomorrow. We can't mention it enough. The confrontation which has been built up between McClain and Gibson have not come off in this World Series as they were expected to. Gibson has been overpowering. Tomorrow in the 7th game, we'll, of course, see another confrontation, another great ball game. Mickey Lolich, the left-hander, who already has 2 victories, versus Bob Gibson, also a 2-game winner. Gibson, we can expect once again an overpowering pitcher. Mickey Lolich, as he told us just a moment ago, will be tired, but a sinker ball pitcher in the style of Mickey Lolich could be more effective. We remember last year, Jim Lomborg, going into that 2nd game, had just 2 days rest also. Lomborg was not sharp. His ball was not moving like it could. He was just tired out from the rugged season. Lolich, of course, could be more effective with being a little bit tired. That's the way it stands right down here now, and let's go on back upstairs.
One pitch in this game that we recall when Al Kaline was hit on the left elbow. We wonder how severe that blow was to Kaline, whether his arm would stiffen up on him and whether it would hurt his batting stroke for tomorrow, because he's really come on here. He now has 11 hits. Today he's had 3 hits. He's knocked in 4 runs in this game. He now leads this World Series in runs batted in. He, with 11 hits, Lou Brock has 12. And Brock, of course, had the chance to tie a record the next time he gets a hit. Bobby Richardson holds the series record with 13 hits in a game. And Brock, with tomorrow, could even break it. Of course, he could still break his own stolen base record of 7 stolen bases in a series. So Kaline and Brock now really running for that top player of the series, along with Bob Gibson, who could win his 3rd tomorrow, and Mickey Lolich, who had the chance to win his 3rd. We'll let you do the picking after it's all over tomorrow of who's going to be the outstanding player. 13-0 is the score. The rain is coming down. Let's take a look at some of the action of Game 5, the most exciting game of this series. Here's Lou Brock leading off that game. And he drives a double into the left field corner. As usual, Brock getting the Cardinals off to a quick jump. There's Brock on second. There he is breaking for 3rd, and Curt Flood dumps a single into right field. This scores Brock. And the Cardinals lead 1-0 in the first inning, and the Tiger fans are unhappy. And then Cepeda slams a home run into the left field seats, and it's the Cardinals 3. And the Tigers nothing in the first inning of Game 5. And it looked like the Cardinals were going to romp again. Here in St. Louis again, rain coming down, tarp on the field, time called at 3:21. It is now 3:52 St. Louis time. Going on with our tape package, that's Mickey Stanley getting a triple into the right field corner. After Cash walked, Willie Horton, he was being played well over to left center, slams an extra base hit into the right center field area. Stanley scoring. And with 2 outs, a gamble there as Willie Horton goes into 3rd. And now Jim Northrup, a bad hop. That was a big break for the Tigers, that bad hop off the glove of Javier. Horton scored, and it's a 1-run ball game at this time in Game 5, with the Cardinals leading 3-2. This was the only close game we've had in this series. The Cardinals have won 4-0, 7-3, and 10-1. The Tigers have won 8-1, and they're leading here 13-0 today. Now it's Al Kaline up. This has been the biggest hit in the series for the Tigers with the bases loaded. Or that's the pitcher, Lolich. And that, by the way, we'll talk about that when Roger Maris and Lou Brock come in. Mickey Lolich single with 1 out. And now here's Al Kaline up in the 7th inning. The Tigers are trailing by 1 run. The bases are loaded. Kaline has been hitting quite a bit to center and to right center in this series. Loops it out into right center. That scores 2 runs for the Tigers. Lolich in the score. The go-ahead run right in behind him, Dick McAuliffe. And now the Tigers lead by a score of 4-3. These are taped highlights of Game 5, and those Tiger fans, of course, went crazy. They hadn't had much to cheer about at Detroit. And Cash drills one into right field, which gave Lolich an insurance run to work with, and that's the way it wound up in Game 5, the game that sent the Tigers back here to St. Louis for Game 6. Roger Maris, who is retiring at the end of this World Series, the all-time home run hitter in one season baseball, who came over here to St. Louis and found a real home for himself, led last year's series in RBIs, and winds up an illustrious career. And, of course, the fantastic Lou Brock, one of the most exciting players in baseball history. We appreciate you fellas coming up here to our NBC booth, and I don't imagine either one of you too happy right now with the score, right?
Well, not right at the present, Kurt. We got down a little bit, and we've had a hard time trying to come back.
Lou, how do you feel about it?
Well, I tell you, if 13-run leads is better than being behind 1-0 at this point, I think you can relax more with a 13-run trailing by 13 than you can with a 1-run lead.
Bob Gibson made a statement, and anybody who's followed baseball knows it. What's it? You lose by 1 or 50 runs, you've lost the ball game, and tomorrow you forget it and start all over again, right?
That's right. It doesn't make any difference, Kurt. If you're going to lose, you might as well lose big rather than lose a 1-0 ball game. At least if you lost big, you feel you're out of it.
Lou, how has McLean impressed you today? Has he been sharp?
Well, Kurt is perhaps the same as he was the past couple of days. He's throwing the ball to the corners, and as he did before. With a 13-run lead, however, he can afford to make a few more mistakes than he did previously.
You were on first base with the Tigers ahead 13-0. You've stolen 7 bases. You've tied your all-time World Series record. You didn't make any attempt to go. Would you explain that?
Yeah, well, 13-run behind and rainy track, a wet track. Don't see any sense in jeopardizing running to second base.
Lewis said you're just now coming into your own. You're 29 years old, and you're just maturing, and you have even better years ahead of you. Do you feel that way?
Well, I hope they're right. Of course, you never know, but anytime you put on a uniform, you go out on the field, you try to get everything you got, and of course, I hope whoever made the statement, I hope they're right.
Raj, what about Gibson and Lolich tomorrow? Let's see fellas put on the Miracle Rally.
Well, it ought to be a real good ball game tomorrow. They're both real good pitchers, and they've both got 2 wins under their belt. We hope to win it naturally. We count on Gibby a lot, and it's a crucial game, and Gibby's been good in crucial situations, so we're looking forward to him to take it now.
Harry, come on down here a minute. I want to turn the mic over to your own broadcaster, Harry Carey. I'll slip out here. I'm sure you can ask these fellas some questions. You live with it.
Well, fine. Thank you very much, Kurt. But I tell you, they're taking the cover off the field, and we're not going to have time for any more interviews up here. Raj, thanks for coming up. Lou Brock, likewise. Tim McCarver. These ball players, of course, have to return down to the field now. Thanks so much for coming up here.
Thank you, Harry.
Good. You saw and heard from Roger Maris, Lou Brock, Tim McCarver, but now they're taking the cover off the field, and the ball players must return to their dugouts. There's the commissioner of baseball, William Eckert, along with umpire Doug Harvey, talking things over. The rain has stopped, and the forecast was that the rain would last only 20 minutes. I think they just about hit it on the nose. The score hasn't been changed any. It's still 13-0 in favor of the Tigers. And we had to cut short the interview with Bob Gibson downstairs, but he is ready, as I'm sure you could tell, as is Mickey Lolich, for the decisive 7th game tomorrow afternoon. Kurt, the cover's off the field, and the rain has stopped. The Cardinals will get a chance to bat in the bottom of the 8th and the top of the 9th. Tim McCarver was kidding me, Kurt. He said, "Gee," I caught a terrible game today," meaning that he was calling wrong pitches. Of course, all in jest, as the Tigers pounded the ball for 12 hits and 13 runs so far. And the Cardinals themselves, just like the Tigers, look forward to tomorrow. Both teams are confident. The players are relaxed. I think it's going to be a tremendous wind-up to a fine series.
We have had a 37-minute delay so far. McLean will be given time to warm up again. With a score 13-0, the Tigers. And when the Cardinals come back to bat, there will be 1 out, nobody on. Lou Brock will be the batter, and the count to him is no balls and 1 strike. But we'll be back to Busch Memorial Stadium in St. Louis in 1 minute.
Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, feel confident. Stay dry with new Right Guard Antiperspirant, a completely new product from Right Guard. Right Guard Antiperspirant is a new defense against perspiration. It contains a tested agent that checks perspiration wetness. Feel confident. Stay dry. Get new Right Guard Antiperspirant in the silver can.
Take razor in right hand. Right hand. Now press button A.
You'd think to change your old Techmatic razor into our new adjustable Techmatic might be a big deal. But all you do is take out your old cartridge and put in our new one. It not only has all the advantages of the old Techmatic, but it now adjusts for a closer shave.
They have dumped the water off the tarp in the left field. Being pulled back now, and will be rolled and removed. And, of course, we've had two big stories in this game. McLean coming back. A bad shoulder after cortisone injection yesterday in that shoulder in Detroit. He's pitched a shutout so far. And the big 10-run third inning by the Tigers, which tied an all-time World Series record of runs scored in a single inning and tied the record of the most men going to the plate. In that inning, McAuliffe walked, Stanley single, K-line single. K-line single brought in a run. Cash single to drive in a run. Horton walked. Then Jim Northrup hit a grand slam homer. Freehan walked. Wirt was hit by a pitch ball. McLean had a sacrifice. McAuliffe walked again. Stanley grounded into a force play. K-line had his second hit and second RBI of the inning. Cash had his second hit of the inning, a single. Willie Horton an infield hit, and Northrup ended the big inning by flying to left field. Takes you back to Saturday, October 12th, 1929, when the A's were trailing the Cubs 8-0. And the A's came up with 10 runs. You remember that great A's team of Connie Mack, one of the finest Major League Baseball teams of all time. They had Bishop at second, Hawes in center, Cochran the catcher, Simmons in left field, Cochran a Hall of Famer, Simmons a Hall of Famer, Jimmy Fox at first, Bing Miller in right, Jimmy Dykes at third, Boley at short. That was the lineup that day that scored the 10 runs. And the Tigers today became the first team in the World Series to score 10 runs in an inning since 1929. The Tigers are out in front of their dugout, loosening up. They'll have to take the field. And McLean will have to warm up again. Here's the most controversial play of the series, Harry. Game 5.
See if that plate is blocked off as Brock tries to score. Did his foot get in there or not? That's what the big argument rages about. Brock says yes. The umpire said no, and so did the Tigers. Here's the play again, Kurt.
This was in the 5th inning. Javier singled. Willie Horton picked the ball up, fired to the plate. And it looks like his foot just missed the plate in front.
It looked like Freehan, who was a fine football player in college, used that ability as he put on a blocked the plate beautifully.
And it's interesting, many wondered why Brock didn't slide.
You know, Kurt, I've read a lot of things about that. I bet you were 16 times during the season that Brock scored standing up on that kind of a play. His theory is that if you slide, you're more easily blocked off the plate because you can only slide one straight way. And that if you go in standing up, even though the plate is blocked, you can pick a corner of the plate that is unexposed and jab it with your foot. Whereas if you slid, you'd be completely blocked off. That's his theory, and he has made it stand up all year long, so you can certainly not fault him during the World Series. A play in which he himself still claims that his toe touched the plate before Freehan was able to knock him away. A great base runner. It was amazing that the play was that close when the ball was hit. It looked like the run would be able to score easily, but Horton, as you recall, watching the replay, fielding the ball, fielded it on the run, and I don't think he's gotten as much credit on the play, perhaps, Kurt, as he should have, because he charged the ball and made a perfect throw.
There's McLean now starting to warm up. We'll see how this delay has affected him, remembering that he's been ailing with a bad shoulder, which hasn't looked too bad today.
No, I should say not. The Cardinals talking to them while we're downstairs. All admit that he threw much better today, and of course, the fact that he has had a big lead all the way hasn't hurt at all. Doesn't hurt any pitcher to be out in front with a lot of runs. In fact, runs, of course, are a pitcher's best friend. But there's no doubt that he threw much more freely today than he had previously in the series. So apparently his arm had bothered him before and did not today.
And he's out there warming up with this delay now of 45 minutes in the sixth game of the World Series. The Tigers ahead 13-0. They've had 12 hits and 1 error. The Cardinals have had no runs, 6 hits and 1 error. The Cardinals have really had only 1 threat. In the seventh, they had runners on second and third. 1 out, but Javier bounced to third, and Maxwell flied to right to end the inning. That's the only real jam that McLean has been in. And when Maris and Brock were up here, they weren't too happy, as you could expect, behind 13 runs.
But they still had their sense of humor. McCarver was saying, well, we got to get this inning in. We got to get this inning in. He says Sunday they delayed it for an hour and a half or so. He says we might score 15 runs in the eighth inning. You know, the sense of humor of these ball players is really a refreshing thing, Kurt. Even when the score is against them, and sometimes usually when it's against them, they come up with some of their wittiest remarks. And there's no pressure at all in either dugout, I'll tell you that. And the game tomorrow should be a dandy with Bob Gibson, who's ready for the assignment, faces Mickey Lolich, who's also ready for the assignment.
Well, even when the Tigers seemed to be done after they were trailing 3-1, they were still loose. They still appeared confident. And now, if McLean holds the 13-run lead with 1 out, nobody on in the eighth inning, it's down to 1 game tomorrow. Lolich, the left-hander, pitching with 2 days rest against Bob Gibson, who'll be pitching with 3 days rest.
Kurt, when we talked to Gibson, you notice that I brought up scouting reports. He doesn't believe in them too much. And he was mentioning that he's been pitching the Tiger hitters away, which according to scouting reports is what they like to hit, pitches away from the plate. But of course, when you're as overpowering as he is, you can even pitch to hitter's strength and retire them.
Here's a weather report for tomorrow. The weatherman has been very accurate during this series. He called for rain in Detroit Sunday. He was right. He called for a clear, bright day in Detroit Monday. He was right. The weatherman said it would rain here today. Once again, correct. And the St. Louis Weather Bureau says tomorrow, clearing. Well, this is for tonight. Clearing and cooler tonight. Low tonight about 45 degrees. Tomorrow, fair to partly cloudy, continued cool. The high will be around 60. But it'll be no rain tomorrow.
It would appear to be starting its clearing right now, Kurt. At any rate, the rain has completely stopped, and no more is expected the rest of the day. So the final inning and a half or so of this ball game will be played, and there go the Tigers onto the field now.
And when McLean says he's ready to go, the game will begin. We'll be back to Busch Memorial Stadium in St. Louis in 1 minute.
Just look what Plymouth's up to now.
The all-new Plymouth Fury for 1969. So big, so beautiful, so fresh in design, it's hard to believe this is a popular priced car. Fury has more comfort, more roominess, more luxury. And behind the wheel, more excitement.
Just look what Plymouth's up to now.
The 1969 Plymouth Valiant, built to Chrysler standards of 6-passenger roominess and comfort. The honest compact. Fury, Valiant, Barracuda, and Belvedere at your Plymouth dealers.
Count of 1 strike. A 49-minute delay. 49 minutes. Strike 2. Once again, Brock in this game has bounced to the pitcher, fly to right, and singles. Batting .500 in the series. McLean has struck out 5 today. He hasn't walked a batter. His two-strike pitch. His curve is low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Kurt Flood is on deck. Struck him out on a high fastball. Number 6 for McLean. Kurt Flood is lined to short, popped up, struck out. Cardinals have 2 down here in the 8th inning. Nobody on. High and away for a ball. Fouls it back. 1-1 to Flood. Flood batting .261 in this series. Play him straight away. Curve drops in. Strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Kurt Flood, the most consistent hitter for the Cardinals all year. There's a fly ball out to Al Kaline. And that's it. The Cardinals are down 1, 2, 3 in the 8th. And at the end of 8 innings, the score is the Tigers 13, the Cardinals nothing.
Jeremy I. Parsons got a red convertible loan from the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce and bought a blue fastbag with buckets. You look great in blue, Jerry. On the other hand, Wilfred S. Hughes got a Commerce red convertible loan and bought a beige sedan.
After you pick me up at the hairdresser's, you could... Wilfred, watch out for that truck. Wilfred, it says no left turn. Take me down to Mary Jane's. We have to discuss.
Well, sure beats walking, eh, Willie? Meanwhile, Miss Charis B. Holmes got a Commerce red convertible loan and bought a pickup truck. How do you like them apples, eh, Charis? Wouldn't you like a Commerce red convertible loan? You might even get a red convertible. Whatever you want, from cars to cameras, boats to broadloom, get it with a bank plan loan from the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce. You'll find it easy to arrange. Just talk to the man at the Commerce.
Mel Nelson becomes the 7th Cardinal pitcher of this game. I want to remind you that next Sunday, NBC Television will present AFL football in the first games of their weekly Sunday doubleheader. Houston Oilers will be playing the Boston Patriots at Boston, and Denver will be at New York, Shea Stadium against the New York Jets. In the second game, it'll be San Diego at Oakland and Cincinnati at Kansas City. The second game will be out in Oakland with Kyle Rote. It should be quite a game. San Diego Chargers and the Oakland Raiders. 7 pitchers by the Cardinals, 8 used by one club in a game is the record. The Reds against the Yankees in 1961. And the Cardinals last year against the Red Sox. Bill Freehan finally broke through with a base hit in the series. He singled in the second, he walked in the third, he grounded out in the fourth, and he flied out in the sixth. Well, he's had 1 hit at 19 times. 13 runs, 12 hits, 1 error for the Tigers. No runs, 6 hits, 1 error for the Cardinals. Low and inside for a ball. This ballpark's a lot different looking now than it was when the game started. A lot of people have left. A high fly in the shallow left. Maxwell going out, the shortstop calling for it. 1 down. Maxwell now has played in 20 World Series games and has not made an error. Don Word has walked, been hit by a pitch ball, popped up and fouled out. One-sided game, and the rain drove many people home. Strike, 0-1. Denny McLean due up next. A ball, 1-1. See, this ballpark was completely jammed at the start of the game. 2-1. The ninth inning. Tigers have one out, nobody on. He pops it up. This will be handled by Shannon, the third baseman. 2 down. There's a view of the empty seats here now. That was quite a steady rain, Harry.
Yes, it was. That might be another record we can refer to. Most empty seats.
A ball, 1-1. See, this ballpark was completely jammed at the start of the game. 2-1. The ninth inning. Tigers have one out, nobody on. He pops it up. This will be handled by Shannon, the third baseman. 2 down. There's a view of the empty seats here now. That was quite a steady rain, Harry.
Yes, it was. That might be another record we can refer to. Most empty seats.
Denny McLean takes a strike. He got a hand from some of the fans. He's hit into a double play, sacrifice, struck out twice. It's the shutout so far. Fouls it back, 0-2. Good boy. Tigers leading 13-0. Well, it didn't take Nelson long to get the Tigers out in the top of the ninth. So at the end of 8.5, the score, the Tigers 13 and the Cardinals nothing.
Yes, sir. Up periscope. Up periscope. Clearing. 150.
Ship ahoy. You've got Dodge Fever. Man, that's Monaco. Design 69.
Take a long, slow look. Luxury line of comfort on a 122-inch wheelbase to give you a big car ride at a popular price. Under the hood, there's engine room for up to 440 cubic inches. New Superlight makes night driving super safe. Concealed windshield wipers keep the lines clean as a clipper ship. Inside, you're in command, in first-class comfort.
Dodge is turning up the fever now. Get your cure for a new Dodge fever now.
Dodge Fever at your Dodge dealers.
Game winner. Roger Maris has grounded out at a bad hop single and has popped up. Foul back. The biggest shutout score in World Series history. Yankees 12, Pirates nothing at Pittsburgh in the 6th game, 1960. Right now, the Tigers are leading 13-0. The 0-1 pitch. Missing that inside corner, 1-1. Cepeda's on deck and in the Cardinals. Slow curve, get out into left center, jumping into a base hit. Harris is on. The 7th hit for the Cardinals, they've all been singles. And Cepeda comes up, he's had 1 hit in 3 times. Only twice in this game have the Cardinals had their leadoff man on in an inning. Drag to Cepeda. Detroit 13, St. Louis nothing. Last of the ninth inning. One and one. Denny McClain, as usual, with that cap tugged down over his eyes. There's a base hit to left. Maris is stopping at second. Peck comes in there from Jim Northrup. Cepeda's on first. Nobody out, and I don't care where you are, what part, a hometown baseball fan never gives up, and these Cardinal fans are now starting to root. There's McCarver up. He's had one hit in 3 times. A breeze has sprung up now and is blowing from home plate out towards second. We had no breeze when this game started. Ball one. One ball, no strikes. Fouls a curve off. That hit Bill Freehand. 1 and 1. Maris at second. Cepeda at first. Nobody out. Last of the ninth. Freehand was hit on the throwing hand by that foul ball. They put the spray that freezes and takes the pain away. You ever see an old catcher's hand?
Old Gabby Street used to say, Kurt, that when 2 catchers shook hands, you had to call a plumber to get them separated.
One ball, one strike. A high fly, shallow right. Norm Cash, they've called the infield fly rule. The runners advance at their own risk. The batter was automatically out. Mike Shannon is hit into a double play, struck out and singled. Gibson had a shutout in the opening game. McClain's trying to get a shutout in this one. Tigers 13, Cardinals nothing. And there's another pop-up on the infield. And once again, the infield fly rule is called. The batter's automatically out. 2 down. The last Tiger pitcher to pitch a World Series shutout was Bobo Newsom, old Bobo, in 1940 when he beat the Reds 8-0. Alan Roth, our statistician today, and our production manager again has been Jim O'Gorman. Two down. Runners on first and second. Julian Javier. A strike. He and Flood had hit safely in every game up until this one. They've been blank. Flood's gone 0 for 4 today. And Javier's 0 for 3. Kaline and Brock have hit safely in every game. Foul back. McClain is 1 strike away now. 0-2 to Javier. Two down, runners on first and second. Line drive, and McClain loses his shutout. Coming in to score is Maris. Now 13-1. And Javier has had a base hit in all 6 games. Al Maxwell still looking for that first series hit. Well, the Cardinals have a run on 3 hits in this inning. 13-1 now, the Tigers. A ball to Maxwell. Gagliano's come out on deck. The bat for the pitcher, Nelson. There's Javier on first. Cepeda's on second. 2 down. A 1-0 pitch. Ball 2. Bill Gagliano. Two balls and no strikes. Fires a fastball through for a strike. 2-1. Doing these World Series games on the NBC Radio Network has been Ernie Harwell, Jack Buck, and Pee Wee Reese. I understand they've done a great job. Foul back, 2-2. Ernie teams up with George Kell and the Tigers, and Jack Buck here with Harry Carey and the Cardinals. And Pee Wee with NBC Sports. 2-2 to Del Maxville. Blaine trying to get this last out. He's got it. That's it. And we're going to the 7th game tomorrow. Denny McLean coming back, winning this one 13-1 in the 9th inning. 1 run for the Cardinals. 3 hits, no errors. They left 2. 13 runs, 12 hits, 1 error for the Tigers. 1 run, 9 hits, 1 error for the Cardinals. The winning pitcher, Denny McLean, and the losing pitcher was Ray Washburn. And now here to wrap it up for you, Harry Carey.
This ball game was settled, of course, in the 3rd inning. An explosive, record-tying 10-run inning by the Detroit Tigers. The inning started with a base on balls. Before it was all over, there were 7 hits, one of them a grand slam home run by Jim Northrup. With that kind of a lead, Denny McLean, pitching great baseball, scores his first victory of the series, 13-1.
There it is, Gibson and Lolich tomorrow, and this game is authorized under television rights granted by the Commissioner's Office solely for the entertainment of our audience. And any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Commissioner's Office is prohibited. The 6th game of this 1968 World Series has been brought to you by
Chrysler Canada Limited and the Dodge, Plymouth, Roots, and Simca dealers who sell the quality engineered cars and trucks by Chrysler.
By the more than 1,350 branches in Canada of the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce. And by Gillette, makers of new foamy lemon lime shave cream and the new Techmatic adjustable razor. Tune in tomorrow when the 1968 World Series continues into the 7th game with the Detroit Tigers versus the St. Louis Cardinals. Be sure to check your local listings for the time in your neighborhood. This is the CBC Television Network.